Most fathers think that they're not going to have an opportunity to get custody of their kids. Could be because they're male. It could be they think that because they don't believe they're going to be treated equally, that they're going to be treated fairly by the court. Well, I want to tell you that that's not exactly the case. The court has a completely different analysis about who gets kids and who doesn't, and it really does not have anything to do with whether it's a male making the request for custody or a female. Now, when the court looks at custody, rather than looking at the gender of the person who's requesting, what does the court look at? The court looks at what is in the best interest of the child. Is it in the best interest of the child to go with mom, or is it in the best interest of the child to go with dad? Now, remember one thing. Many, many years ago, the family was different. In the 50s, for example, it might have been the case that the fathers worked, mom stayed home. In that scenario, there might have been a bias toward the mom. Why? Because it's the mom who's been taking care of the kids. It's the mom who knows everything about what the kid likes in terms of food, what allergies the kids have, what doctors the kids have, what their favorite subject is in school, what they need assistance with. The kid would turn to the mom for all the emotional support and everything. That's the way it was back then. We don't live in that kind of society anymore. Now, a lot of households, both parents are working. The kids are looking to both for support. They're looking to both guidance. Maybe it's the case that the mom knows who the pediatrician is, but the mom probably doesn't know who the kid's favorite sports figure or sports team is. It's probably something the dad knows. So, in other words, we've shifted away from that analysis, from that time when the court might look at this and always give the nod to the mom. I would venture to say that in the 50s, if it were the case back then that both parties worked and both parties had equal access to the children, there would never have been a bias in favor of one parent or another. Nowadays, certainly though, that is not the case. So when fathers will say, I don't think I'm going to get to see my kids because I'm the dad, and you know how it is, the woman always gets the approval of the court, not true. It can happen sometimes. It can happen in situations where, for example, mothers are a responsible adult with a job and father's a drug addict and an alcoholic. Of course, there's a very good chance that you won't have an opportunity to be with your kids. But all things being equal, the court now is mandated to focus not on either parent, but rather what's in the best interest of the minor child. And to do that, they analyze not one, not two, but a dozen distinct factors, all designed to determine where will the kid have the most stability. Will it be with mom or will it be with dad? Who's going to provide the best influence for the child? Will it be mom? Will it be dad? And it could be about a lot of things. It could be about who's going to support the education of the child the best. Who's the best moral influence on the child? All these things taking into account from an emotional standpoint, from a social standpoint, from all of these things, the court draws its information to determine not whether or not mom is better than dad, but to determine whether or not it's in the best interest of the minor child to go with one or the other and who that person would be. So therefore, it's a lot more complicated than just to see if one person's wearing a skirt and one is not, if there's a mother or a father. Way more complicated than that. Nowadays, the court does an in-depth analysis, really child-oriented in terms of where that child's going to thrive the most. And that is how the court takes a position on this. Now, you may feel that you won't get a fair shake. You may feel that there's a situation where there will be a bias against you in your divorce because you're the dad. If you have any questions about that, if you want to know anything about any family law issues, feel free to contact us using the link below, and we will either give you the answer or at the very least, we'll point you in the right direction.